You are listening to Season 2 of The Diary of a Wannabe Writer, the short and often daily podcast in which I chronicle my life and attempt to be a writer by writing daily. Sometimes. Hello, today is Sunday the 9th of November 2025 and you are listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer. Very pleased with what I've got done today. So I started off relatively early this morning and did a live stream in which I basically finished the zero draft of chapter 18. So it was quite a long one. I was on for nearly 3 hours and chatted with various of me regulars, as it were. And yeah, it just felt like there was some really good material in there. It was, really happy with it. And that could have been all I did today, because that was a very good, I wrote a couple of thousand words, I think possibly more actually. I think I was on 1,600 at the beginning of the day and ended on about 4,000. So if I'd written 2,400 words today, that would have been a really perfectly adequate way to say what I'd achieved for the day, or, perfectly adequate to do for the day. But I was in the mood to do more. I did a bit of house tidying. I watched some TV. I watched a fellow writer, well, it was actually a reading streamer, who was reading Douglas Adams' book out and talking about it as he went. And it turns out he never heard of the Eoin Colfer Sixth Hitchhiker's book and Another Thing. So I educated him. But yeah, that was an interesting stream. I followed him. What happens is when you are doing a live stream, if you've got a certain number of viewers, it's what's called raiding another stream. So what you do, you take all your viewers into a different stream. So I picked one that's on the reading and writing topic like mine. As I say, I had a picture of the Douglas Adams book on his cover image, so I thought that'll do, and it just took all my viewers into his stream. He followed me, a couple of others of his readers followed me, viewers followed me, so that was good. And that, as I said, if that had been all I did for the day, that would have been perfectly adequate. But I reread the chapter a couple of times, and I'm not going to lie, I really like it. So it's only got 3 people in it, really. Apart from a nurse who sort of is sitting in the room with no dialogue. It is purely and a taxi driver who is sitting in his cab with no dialogue. It is purely a 3-hander chapter between initially Isabel and Elizabeth Netter, and then at the end between Elizabeth Netter and Lady Desai. And it closes the loop on that tangent that I wrote myself into, that I created when I realised the best way to illustrate something I needed to set up for the 3rd book was to do it with one of the main characters. And it made sense that it would be Lady Desai. That loop is now closed. Some of the conversations Mrs. Netter has with Isabel she's a psychopath. I really enjoyed writing them. But the best bit for me, and I can't reveal it, but for anybody who's read the whole book, there is enough information in that chapter and the ones leading up to it for you to anticipate the twist. Because all you've got to do is realise one fact. You don't have to understand how, and this is probably the barrier, because if you realise what the twist is, you won't understand how that's possible. That does get explained later in the book. But if you've realised if you've had a hunch what the twist might be, that chapter will absolutely confirm it. If you haven't got a clue, it will mean nothing to you. But it really is the slope now towards, we have absolutely peaked at the top of the mountain and we're about to end up trundling down the hill like 3 old men in a bathtub in an episode of Last of the Summer Wine, accelerating until we get to the bottom of the hill. I'm so pleased with that chapter. You can probably tell from the fact I keep saying things like, I'm so pleased with that chapter. The other really good thing I'm quickly going to go through is how much I've written this month. So bear in mind, last month I wrote just over 1,600 words. In the first 9 days, I have signed off 11,100 words. So I'm not at 50%. I want to do 25,000 this month, but that's over 40%. That's somewhere between 40 and 45%. And I've got one more sort of calm, normal chapter to write, which will be the one where Charlie signs his paperwork and probably attends his mother's funeral and stuff like that. And then it's all going to swiftly descend into chaos and the final revelations and the twist at the end of the book. And I can't wait. I'm so looking forward to writing it. So my current word count, oh good grief, is 86,545 words. And my target is, so I'm just under 3/4 of the way through. So the 80,000 was approximately 2/3, 90,000 is approximately 3/4. So hopefully the chapter I'm going to write over the next few days will take me to that 90,000. I then need to, so I've got various different notes about how the story ends. It kind of becomes a bit of a roller coaster type chase. I need to sort out my notes for that and get it all into place. And then I can get on with actually writing the end of the story. And of course, there is this big roller coaster and this big denouement, as it were. But the epilogue is going to be quite detailed. It might even not be an epilogue, so it might have to be 2 chapters. But that has got some vital twists and turns in it. In case you hadn't realised, I'm really enjoying myself writing this now. Thank you so much for listening. I'll be back at a similar time tomorrow. Bye-bye. You have been listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer. For more information about what I'm writing, go to linktr.ee/Richard Writes, capital R, capital W, where you can find details of my website and social media. I may see you there.